Hello, welcome to Mr. House. I'm here teaching math. Let's go math time. Yeah. We're teaching today 1.4. Whoops. 1.4. 1.4 is rounding numbers, and for some reason this is such a hard concept for kids. As you can see, there's your definitions for today. An estimate tells you about how much or about how many or about how much. It's close to the exact amount. So you can round to estimate is pretty much what they're saying, and we'll show you what that means in a minute. But you got to know that with Go Math, you're going to have story problems galore in Go Math. That's just how they do it. So we take a lot of time to show kids how to pull things out of story problems. So let's do that now. During May 2008, Mount Rushmore National Monument in South Dakota welcomed. And it's already done for us here because I use my teacher manual, but I would have had them underline, circle something when they get to the number. So 138,202 visitors. A website reported about 100,000 people visited the park during that month. Woo! Was that a reasonable estimate? So if we write this number down, and we got 138,202. What we have to do is, we're going to look at this one, because they're saying it's rounded to about 100,000 people. We got to see if they're right on that. So we're going to go to our 100,000. Now, anytime that you're rounding, you're going to go to the next number. And the rule with rounding is, if it's 1 through 4, you keep the same. The number stays the same. If it's 5, let me use a different color. If it's 5 through 9, you go up. So the number rounds up. So I'm looking right now at this 3. Does that 3 fit the 1 through 4, or does it fit the 5 through 9? You're correct. It fits at 1. It fits right here, that 1 through 4. So what happens is, and it's not the 3 that changes. So don't get me mixed up saying, ooh, that's the number that's going to change. We're only changing that number that we're dealing with. And because it's 1 through 4, that number stays the same. So the 1 stays the same. And then every other number after the 1, all these numbers right here are just going to become zeros. So 1, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0. So he says, 100,000 people visited the park during that month. Was the estimate reasonable? Yes. Because if I round that number down, it's 100,000. So that works. Now, all you're really going to do in this lesson is round. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have a number like 389,422. And I'm going to, if you have an underlined digit, that means that's the number they want you to round. So remember the rule. I'm going to look at the number on the right of it. And if it's 1 through 4, it stays the underlying number stays the same. If it is 5 through 9, it goes up. So that 9 obviously fits into that 5 through 9 category. So what will happen is, and this is the other big number or question students have with this lesson. What do I do with the number before it? You just write it down. This is the only number we're worried about right now. You just bring that number down. The A, because it's 5 through 9, I'm going to make it a 9. And then everything else will become a 0. Okay, now the tricky one is if I have 499,919 and I'm underlining this number. Okay, if I look here, we look back and it's between 5 and 9. So I have to round that number, this 9, up. The problem is, where do you round up from 9? So what happens is, then I have to round this number and make it a 5. And then everything else will become zeros. I hope that makes sense. That's really all you're doing is follow this rule right here. Remember, we're going to only change We're only changing the number that's underlined. If there's numbers before it, you just bring them straight down. And you're looking at the number to the right of it to see if you can change. If it's 1 through 4, the underlying number stays the same. If it's 5 through 9, that number goes up, as you can see there. So that is lesson 1.4. I hope it makes sense. So that was 1.4. Join me next time as we teach 1.5. This is Mr. Ralph saying adios.